to stand before you all this morning to share my testimony. My name is Cariné Mwumvaneza. I sometimes go by Queen. Slay. I am a member of Tokyo House Church, shepherded by, there they are, Danny and Joyce Lee, both of whom I hold in high regard, admire, and eternally grateful for their unwavering support, guidance, patience, and understanding through my walk with God. They have shown me and my fellow house church members unconditional love and the sacrifices they're willing to make to be present in each of our lives. I have come to call them Mom and Dad. Love you both. My own family is living proof of God's grace and mercy. If it were not for him, my parents would not have survived genocide in a small country in Central Africa, Rwanda, and I would not have graced the world with my presence. You have to forgive me. Though my life story is unique, I'm only able to recollect embarrassing or traumatic moments of my childhood days. However, my parents were the first to tell you that I was a rambunctious child with numerous heart-pounding experiences. One such experience was when I became very ill during elementary school. I can still recall my mother's anxious face and voice as she ushered one of her pastor friends to pray over me. Though I grew up with God, I was spiritually ignorant in my faith, only following my parents to church and attending Sunday school out of obedience. Nevertheless, in fear of being a defiant child, I continued attending church, joining youth service, and sporadically adult service, praising God with empty lips and a wandering mind. But as it may, it was not until I witnessed my parents' divorce come to a head, an emotionally traumatic point in my life, that I began to seek and pray earnestly to God, asking him to heal my family. When the divorce was finalized, I was not angry at God, but rather at myself for relying on him to perform a miracle. Subsequently, I self-internalized, and not knowing who to turn to, I engrossed in my high school activities and concealed my affliction behind my friendly but detached demeanor. As the saying goes, I faked it till I made it. As my high school social life climbed, I continued to reject and resent God, all while attending a Catholic school. I constantly asked myself, why should I learn about the goodness of God when he has shown me sorrow and grief? Why should I learn about a religion in which many, if not all, of my peers' private persona was vastly different from their outwardly righteous public persona? Though I was never ridiculed for my faith, feeling ashamed to be associated with the hypocrisy of Christians and resenting God for my broken family and heart, I left him on the back burner. Entering college, I found myself at another Catholic school. However, I was not deterred from living for me, myself, and I, immersed in an endless cycle of school, work, parties, and self-induced pressure to be perfect, all while continuing to be emotionally detached. At times, when I found myself in laborious circumstances in dealing with an individual who sought to mar my character, i.e. my enemy, I often, in frustration, would say, Jesus, take the wheel. Not today, Satan, not today. Or try Jesus, not me, because I can throw hands, never once stopping to think on the connotation of each saying. It was not until I was invited to Friendsgiving House Church by Danny, aka Dad, last year that I began to consider a life with God, who along the way had become a stranger I stopped resenting. Initially taken aback by the vulnerability of each member, I questioned how I would be able to open my heart to strangers and God when I could barely open my heart to myself. It was not long before I discerned House Church as a place where I belonged without a facade, to share my burdens and joy with others as I sought a relationship with God. Thereafter, I decided to attend RJM, not at all prepared for Pastor Eric's first question of whether we would go to heaven or hell if we were to die that day. I was not ready to die, so I answered, I don't know. To which he responded, no, you have to choose one. With deep self-reflection, I replied, I would go to hell because I had turned my back towards God. As the class progressed, I realized that God had always been with me, patiently waiting for my return. In the end, when asked to close our eyes and raise our hands if we were ready to accept Jesus into our hearts, I readily did so, desiring to break the walls around my heart. Following RJM, I turned to God with a heart filled with gratitude, asking for patience, forgiveness, guidance, and a healing heart. It's funny how he works. I rejected him when my family was breaking apart, but accepted him when I gained an extended family. I no longer feel ashamed of my faith or wary of those who call themselves Christians. Renewing my faith and relationship with God has taught me that I am more than enough and allowed me to open my heart to strengthen many broken friendships while forgiving and praying over the one I once called my enemy. Whereas in the past, I would avert from sharing my woes with others for fear of being an emotional burden, I look forward to my free therapy sessions. My baptism is my conviction in God. I am thankful for the life and families that God chose for me. He continues to open my heart as I trust and reach out to him, each day serving as a reminder of what he has and continues to do for me even when I feel undeserving. I am not perfect, and as I continue to build a personal relationship with God, I want to thank Tokyo House Church for praying over me, feeding me, accepting me, showering me with love, and thank you to New Life for opening up your doors to my once broken faith, and to God, thank you for waiting. Thank you.